Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Greater Freedom with Nicola Charlotte, and I am delighted to be joined by my second guest, Millie, who I'm going to pass over onto shortly to introduce herself. Millie is a very successful social media manager with her own agency now, and we're going to be talking all about Millie's journey to where she is now in her business, the steps that she's taken to get there, and also how she has enabled to maintain the levels of freedom that she desires whilst also running a successful business. So without further ado, Millie, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today, and please do introduce yourself and give us a little bit of top line information and insight into who you are and what it is that you do.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's so exciting. It's my first ever podcast, so I'm very honoured to be breaking my podcast virginity with you. But yeah, I'm Millie. I'm 24 years old and I'm the owner of the social media management agency Nude. So what we do is we specialise in creating strategy-driven and viral content for fashion, beauty and lifestyle brands. So our main kind of service is social media management for mainly Instagram. There are so many things that come alongside this. So we do graphic design, videography and photography. We work with influencers, and we also have recently started doing one-to-one coaching sessions as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's kind of a bit of outline of what Nude is about. I guess my kind of journey of how I started. So I started Nude in January of 2021. So it was during one of the COVID lockdowns. I was actually on a social media team for another company, but then was put on furlough. So kind of starting my own business was always one of my biggest dreams. I always looked up to my mum, who actually owns her own PR agency. So when I was put on furlough, I just saw a really big opportunity to use the time, and I decided to take the plunge and start the agency.
Amazing. Gosh, that's such I think a lot of people, I imagine, will be able to resonate with that sort of sliding doors moment during COVID, where it was like, either I can stick with what I'm doing, or actually, hang on, this isn't necessarily what I do want to do. This isn't necessarily particularly fulfilling. What opportunities do I have here? So was social media something that you were really interested in and passionate about? Did you see yourself moving into a business that was focused on online, or was it a combination of that and kind of building on your strengths, building on your experience, that then led you to set up Nude Social?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of growing up, I'm 24, I mean, I've grown up during kind of the main evolvement of social media, and it's always kind of been something that I've just really been interested in, like not even aside from just like personal stuff, posting about friends and stuff, but I mean, I had a Tumblr account when I was young. I don't know if you remember that, but it was huge in terms of like visual kind of imagery, and I was obsessed with that. And it's funny because I look back at my Tumblr page and compare it to what my business page looks like now, and it's literally the exact same thing.
Really?
So I always like to say that I've kind of manifested what Nude is within me. And then so I was working in socials just after I graduated uni, and I guess for me, I always felt really held back with what I was allowed to do, and I guess my ideas weren't really listened to the majority of the time, and I knew that I could do so much more. And I actually, when COVID happened, I knew that I wanted to start a business. I didn't necessarily know what it would be. I was kind of toying with the idea of even starting a fashion brand, but then realized I don't have any design skills. I just knew that I wanted to start something. And then I actually just stumbled across another kind of social media management page on Instagram and kind of thought, this is everything that I have always told people that I wanted to do. This envisions everything of what my dream job is. And so literally made my Instagram page a few days later and just became obsessed.
Amazing. Gosh, and that's a really nice reminder to people that are listening, and I'm sure they can resonate with this as well. It's like, when you have this idea, when you have this vision, actually take that first step to set it up, or take that first step to reach out and have a conversation. Because I'm sure there are so many things that we sort of sit on for so long, be that with decisions or with, you know, things that we want to do with our business, ways that we want to change it. But one of the things that you alluded to, which ties in nicely with the theme of the podcast, was that you felt somewhat restricted in your old job, be that because of, you know, management style, or quote unquote sort of having to do things in a certain way, having to follow certain processes. So given that this podcast is called Greater Freedom, was freedom something that you were realizing you had a lack of, and therefore wanted to create more of by having more autonomy over your work and setting up your own business?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I think the job that I was in before, like I said, I did feel very restricted. I wasn't treated well. And I just knew that I wanted to start my own thing, to be my own boss, to not only give myself that freedom, but to take the kind of things that I've learned from my previous job and from previous managers I've had, to be a good boss and to give people that I'm hiring at the moment or hiring in the future that kind of freedom as well. So yeah, completely.
And what does freedom mean to you? Obviously that's quite a broad question, but how does it show up in your life and business today?
Yeah, I think freedom comes in so many different forms. For me, I think freedom means being able to kind of be yourself and be who you are without the absence of fear or judgment from other people. I think that's really important. I think it also means kind of being able to do what your heart wants and have nothing that's kind of holding you back or stopping you from doing what you want to do, especially in particular moments. Yeah, I think it's kind of something that I've definitely struggled with, especially throughout my whole business journey, and I'm definitely learning, but I'm slowly but definitely getting there for sure.
I think we all do, you know, it's that very fine line, and people use the word balance, and I used that for a while and sort of trying to explain to people, you know what part of my role is to help you create that balance. But then I came across the word maybe like a year or so ago, and it's more like the harmony, like coexisting your life and your business so that they're coexisting in harmony together, because that balance is such a grey area. And as you say, it is hard to know at the beginning, because there is an element of making sacrifices, putting lots of time in, trying things out that maybe don't work, doing things last minute because, you know, you've maybe got a client that's come through that you sort of say yes to lots of things at the beginning because you're a new business and you're growing. And I know we sort of had a little chat before we started recording, but do you want to share some of the ways that you have, I guess, introduced, or the lessons that you've learned from your journey that you've now corrected to enable you to establish greater freedom as your business continues to grow?
Yeah, no, for sure. So, I mean, first of all, I think that business in my business in a way is kind of being able to create that greater freedom in my life. Like, I don't really think of my job as a job. It really is just a hobby and genuinely what I love to do. And yeah, like I mentioned, I've had jobs in the past where I haven't been treated well, and that obviously made me feel like I didn't have any freedom whatsoever. So the fact that I am kind of able to wake up every day and excited to do the tasks that I really want to do really does give me that freedom. But yeah, there's definitely one huge factor in my business that has kind of allowed me to get that greater freedom, and that was taking the first step in hiring an assistant back in Feb. It came to the point where I literally didn't have any freedom in my life. I was working insane hours, not having any time for myself. There were literally even some days where I thought I wasn't able to stand up from my desk to make my own lunch, which is just insane. So, but then it even got to the point in terms of business where I was at full capacity and I couldn't take on any more clients. But I kept telling myself that I wasn't ready to hire. I wasn't a big enough business. I didn't deserve it, and I couldn't afford to hire. but at the end of the day, hiring someone is giving me that freedom to take on more clients and therefore earn more money. And then obviously, most importantly, hiring someone has massively improved my mental state, allowing me to be a better business owner and person.
That was something that the last guest, Ashley, mentioned as well. She'd sort of got to this point where her business was doing really well. She was seeing great success, but she had no freedom of time. And if we're creating, earning more money than before and having a lifestyle that sort of is what was once on our vision board, for example, but we don't have the time to enjoy it, then it almost is counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's just funny, isn't it? I mean, now that you're even just saying that, it's funny because I'm thinking about my brother actually, who has just well, at the beginning of this year, he handed in his notice. He was working for a bank, obviously earning, insane amounts of money and living that lavish lifestyle, but having, the actual worst life ever, and not having the time to enjoy it with people and friends, and not actually being able to live life. So it's totally kind of comparable to business owners and people in kind of these big corporate jobs as well.
Exactly. And I think something important to mention as well is that initial fear around making that hire, and it's sort of, there are so many times when we can talk ourselves out of doing something, like, oh, it's not the right time, or oh, I'll wait another month, or maybe I can just figure it out on my own. So how did it feel once you made that decision to hire, and what's the difference that you've seen? I know that you mentioned kind of even on a headspace level and the time to for more lead generation, but can you talk a little bit more about that and kind of what the difference has been?
Yeah, I mean, initially, hiring was like one of the scariest things I've ever had to do. Just even putting all of my kind of trust into someone else. I mean, my business is my baby. But yeah, I mean, literally, I can't even imagine what my life would look like now if I hadn't have taken that step. I mean, obviously, there's now freedom and time for every aspect of my business. I now have free time within my business where I'm able to actually put effort into growing my business myself and not just focusing on my clients. Like I've managed to launch an online shop in the past few months, which I never would have been able to done if I hadn't of being able to give tasks to someone else so I could focus on that. And then I guess just personal life as well. I mean, I'm a lover of traveling, and being and having that extra time has really allowed me to kind of go wherever I want, whenever I want, especially this summer. I mean, I've been away 4 times, and
girl after my own heart.
Yeah, and never would I have been able to do that if I didn't have someone there supporting me, knowing that she was kind of handling the extra things back home. So yeah, I mean, it's been amazing, and I can't wait to kind of continue and take the next steps to whether it's increasing her hours or getting another assistant, and really kind of starting to put all my eggs into different baskets.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you mentioned the sort of lifestyle element of it as well, because that's something that I'm so passionate about and talk to my clients about a lot as well. Is like, what does the dream lifestyle look like? Because it can be very easy to focus on what do I want my business to look like? What are my revenue goals? How many clients do I want to be working with? How many products do I want to sell? And then we get there, but we're overwhelmed, we're burnt out, we haven't had time off in months. So that's so important to acknowledge, what do I value in my business and what do I value in my life? And then making sure that those two elements are aligned, which is why I think leading with lifestyle and curating a business that has, a ladder of offerings or a product suite that will enable you to have that lifestyle on a financial level, but also that match the other values that you have, be that connection or growth or success or family, So do you have any other, or what would be some of your core values that you adhere to, I guess, in either life and business, and how do these show up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of talking about travel and adventure, that kind of leads into one of my core values, actually. I'd say that adventure is a big core value of mine for business and life. I like to say to my clients that when they work with Nude, they should kind of expect an experience in itself. It's an exciting, but like we talked about, very daunting process investing in your business. So I really like to make kind of every step along the journey really fun and vibrant for my clients. And then I guess that integrates quite nicely with kind of the adventure in my personal life as well. Love to travel, love exploring new places. So I think the way that I kind of work and what I do really allows adventure to be a core value for me within the business and my personal life as well. I think another core value for me is passion as well. I obviously love what I do and why I do it. And I like to kind of believe that all of our projects we work on are passion projects. I inject a lot of devotion into kind of every single one of our clients and what we do for them. And I think in general life as well, I'm a very passionate person. I put a lot of passion into friendships, relationships, hobbies. So yeah, I would say that that's probably another core value too.
I love those. Yeah. And it's so nice how there's that, I mean, it's obvious, but it's so nice when you can see that link because, you know, for example, when you're going away and you're traveling, that's what is restoring your energy. That's what's bringing more creativity, and that's what's nurturing new connections and allowing you to feel inspired, which then is relayed and sort of refocused onto your business, which is another reason why investing in yourself, be that with a coach, with a mentor, or with an assistant, or someone who is a specialist in a certain element of your business, just has this sort of self rewarding effect, because it's injecting that energy and that passion and that expertise back into your own business. So it's sort of choosing a different perspective, I suppose, when it comes to making a big decision like an investment, as to actually what is all this possibility that I could unlock, what are all the potential incredible outcomes that this might lead to, rather than saying, oh no, it's, you know, maybe it's too expensive, or maybe I should wait. It's like choosing that approach, I think. So yeah, thank you for sharing. Love those examples. And for those who are listening, could you give a little bit more information on the types, maybe not the types of clients, but the sorts of projects that you work on, so those passion projects, in case anyone's listening is thinking, oh, I could do with a Millie in my life. To share a bit of that.
Yeah, so like I mentioned at the start, kind of our main service that we do is social media management. So I work with fashion and beauty and lifestyle businesses. The main clients we have at the moment, if I can remember at the top of my head, we have a wedding dress company, beautiful wedding dresses. And Nicola, I know you're getting married. So.
I know, I was going to say maybe I'll have to get their details.
We also work with a lovely candle and diffuser brand. We work with a bikini brand over in New York. We also have just taken on a really amazing new client. They are a vegan and cruelty-free kind of lash and mascara kind of brand. But yeah, I mean, they're all just companies that I'm seriously just obsessed with, and every time I get an inquiry from a brand like them, my whole body I get shivers, because it's just so amazing that I can spend my time and really invest myself in these types of businesses and the amazing women that run them. The kind of things that we do for them, so we handle all of their, well, it's mainly Instagram, but we kind of just take everything off their plate for them, and we handle all the strategy behind all of their posts, and kind of the content plans, but we do their graphic design. A main kind of thing that's been really big in the Instagram world right now is video content. So we are filming lots of reels, getting all those transitions and fun trending sounds in.
Love that.
And working with influencers, it's honestly never really ending, but it's just everything that I have always loved doing. So yeah, the fact that I can call this my job is pretty damn amazing.
So with the mention of reels and videos, so obviously video, as we know, is a big, and actually it's something that I've neglected, so that's a good reminder. I need to get back on my reels.
Yeah.
But, any other sort of top tips or words of wisdom maybe for women, as you've just described, who have their own business, who have a social media presence, to help them either stand out or to increase their engagement? Anything that you can kind of share as a sort of top tip and a takeaway for people listening?
Yeah, I mean, I think Reels at the moment is one of the biggest ways that people are being able to grow on Instagram. I know it's daunting and scary, and it doesn't have to be as scary as people make it out to be. We don't need these like highly professional videos, and we can literally just film a 2-second clip of you lip syncing to someone else's voice. And it's those actually that are types of Reels that are, you know, reaching thousands and even millions of people. But I guess the kind of main thing that I always say to my clients is the types of content that the people are most engaging with are the content that's going to give people value. So educating people, whether it's about educating people about yourself and what you do and what your values are, or whether it's educating people about what your product can do for them, educating about anything that is to do with your brand and your niche. That is the thing that's going to get you the most saves and people liking and commenting and sharing. So I think that's kind of the main thing. That's it. If you can put a reel and an educational post together, that is the icing on the cake.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And just before we sort of come to the end, I'd love to hear, obviously, so it's been about 1.5 years since you set up your business, so January 2021. And you've seen incredible success. I mean, I'll leave all your links to your profile in the show notes. But for those who are interested, then please do check it out. I mean, Millie is an absolute whiz, and just amazing what you do. Any key lessons, you know, looking back to what must feel like partly not long ago at all, but also like a long time ago, lessons that you've learned from your business journey so far that might help people either at a similar stage to you or those that are newer out, looking to grow their business in a way that feels really aligned and exciting to them and their visions?
I think for me, kind of one of the main things that I've learned, and I guess this kind of, oh god, there's someone going past.
Oh, don't worry.
I didn't know whether you could hear that. I'll stop that there again. I think one of the kind of main things that I've learned, and I guess this kind of links to when I spoke about what freedom means to me, is to not let that fear of judgment and what other people are thinking about you kind of get in the way of you and your business journey. That fear of judgment is going to make you miserable, and it's going to hold you back massively and not allow you to do the things that you really want to do. When I first started Nude, I was terrified of what people would think of me. I was so scared to share my posts to my kind of personal profile, what my friends would think. Even people that were even just following me on Nude who were actually interested, I was still scared of what they were thinking of me. But, you know, when I started to let go of that fear of judgment and was able to start posting on Instagram and talk about my services, you know, obviously that all links to the kind of blowing up of the business and therefore giving me that freedom to do what I love. So yeah, I guess that's my lesson, just to not kind of overthink too much about what other people are thinking about what you're doing. You're a business owner, and I think you got to tell yourself that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's so important, because I'm sure it's something that we all, well, I know I have absolutely at the beginning of setting up my business, totally felt the same. And yes, it takes, you know, experience to build confidence. And yes, of course, you know, as you begin to see traction and work with clients, naturally you have more to share. But from a, you know, coaching perspective, we're never going to be able to control what other people think. We're never going to be able to control how other people react. So the more aligned that we can stay with what we're passionate about and what we want to talk about, as you say, that's what people will resonate with. You know, it's that sort of vulnerability aspect, but also the authenticity behind it of, this is me, this is what I do, here's my face. You know, don't have to be wearing loads of makeup or looking kind of totally done up. It's like people are drawn to people like them. And so being able to go up and talk about days when you're not feeling as good, or writing a post that has a spelling error, you know, that's fine, it's normal.
Yeah, that's what people love to see. They love the relatability. They love that you're a normal person. You know, they just want to kind of see you and be, you know, you're influencing people as a normal person. You know, you're not perfect. So yeah.
What do you think, it was time that helped you, or was there anything that you did or a shift that you made that almost caught yourself and was like, no, do you know what, I'm not hiding away anymore? Can you pinpoint anything that you think it was that really helped?
I think it was time, to be honest, kind of building that confidence over the months. It probably honestly wasn't, and probably until about 6 to 8 months into my business that I was really, I mean, I still mess up now when I go and speak on my Instagram stories. I still have to kind of retake a few times when I feel like, and that's totally fine. Yeah. But I think that I just kind of, over time built up the confidence. And also, I guess the more that I talked about it to other people about my business, you know, when I would meet new people at, you know, at events and whatever, and they would tell me what an amazing job I'm doing. And I would actually tell myself, okay, yeah, this is actually quite cool. Like, why am I being shy? And why am I not being confident about this? And so I guess that kind of gave me the push as well to, just be confident and show up.
I suppose that's exactly it, isn't it? It's sort of show up. The more you show up, the more you talk, the more you record videos, the more you do an Instagram live, the quicker or the sort of sooner you'll feel more confident. And the more we shy away and hide ourselves, then we almost get in that sort of rabbit hole of not knowing how to get out. So yeah, very, very, very helpful. Thank you so much. So for those of you who are listening and are not yet familiar with Millie, how can people find you on Instagram? And I will obviously leave the link as well, but please share your details for people that are listening now.
Yeah, so our kind of main page that you can find us is on Instagram, or just at Nude Social. We are on TikTok as well, but we actually don't come up in the search bar because I think that TikTok thinks that we're a bit of a naughty name. So you might not be able to find us on TikTok. But yes, Instagram, and then our website, which we're actually going through a little rebrand soon, which is really exciting. But that is just nudesocial.co.uk there. And that's where you can read all about me and what services we offer. And we also have a contact form. So if you did want to get in touch about working together, there is a contact form for you to fill out.
Amazing. And I do know, because I was looking at your Instagram the other day, you've got a content calendar, is that right, available?
We do. So I mentioned earlier that I had recently launched an Instagram shop. So on there we are selling 2 digital products. We have just released an August content calendar. So if you are looking to kind of get all your content batched and prepped for the whole month of August, it is a content calendar that gives you content ideas and prompts for every single day for the month of August, all the social media holidays that are as well. And we do release these monthly. So right now is the August one, and then obviously at the end of August, we'll then release September. And then the second product we have are Canva Instagram templates. So if you guys are aware of Canva, it is like a really easy kind of graphic design website. And we sell templates on there. So people, you know, wait, let me start that again. So then our second product we have are the Instagram Canva templates. So if you guys don't know what Canva is, it is a really easy kind of graphic design website. And yeah, we sell templates for there where you guys can just drag and drop all your pictures, change the fonts, colors and everything. So you can get really aesthetic graphics to use for your Instagram page.
Amazing. Sounds wonderful. And those prompts for everyday content is, I'm sure a lot of people will find very useful. So I'll leave the links to that as well in the show notes. But thank you so much for joining. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed your first podcast experience.
I have. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And yeah, thank you everyone for listening. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.